All right, now a couple of stories. This is kind of weird going on here today in the news. The Vermont Department of Health has put out a post informing families they should no longer call their child son or daughter because it's not inclusive enough. Vermont Department of Health, quote, "The language we use matters, exclamation point. When talking about family, it's important to use terms that cover the many versions of what family can look like. Sign up for our monthly health equity newsletter for more tips. Here are some of the tips for inclusive language for families. Use child or kid instead of daughter or son. This child or kid is gender neutral and can describe a child who may not be someone's legal son or daughter." Jesus. So in other words, if the kid is not your legal kid, you haven't adopted him yet, but they live together because you married his mother and you've had him for 10 years, but you can't call him your son? My God.
Do not comply.
Yeah,
Do not let them control your language or control the language. You talk to your kids how you want.
We got
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
So rule number one, Vermont Department of Health, use child or kid, not daughter or son. Rule number two, say family members rather than household members. Not all families live in the same home. Think divorced or incarcerated parents and step-siblings. So don't say family members, say household members. They may not be your family because they may not live with you. Oh, my God, that's number two. Number three, say family instead of extended family. Often grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins are important because they score of a core family unit. So don't say extended family. Good Lord. What happened to the Green Mountain Boys? Hell, the Green Mountain Boys were volunteers in the Revolutionary War. Said, no, we're not taking, hold on a minute. We'll do anything to save our country. Good Lord. New England was where it all happened.
Yeah.
There are monuments in Rutland and Burlington and, for the famous fights for freedom. Oh, good Lord. And now,
Brattleboro.
And now, of course, some of the most famous women's colleges are all screaming hate men liberal colleges all in Vermont, like Bennington and anyway, we got a bunch of
Dartmouth's up there somewhere.
That's right, yeah. I think that's Massachusetts.
No, New Hampshire?
I think that's New Hampshire. I think it's New Hampshire. But again, the same. Those people, live free or die, my ass. Anyway, 424.
Okay.
Speaking of that, that's Vermont. Okay, here we go. Home Depot. I did not know about this. Home Depot has partnered with the Human Rights Campaign for elementary school gender curriculum, teaching kids about pansexuals. In 2022, Home Depot announced one of its diversity partnerships was the Human Rights Campaign Welcome Schools program, educating students on transgender and LGBTQ terms in schools, K through 12. And now Home Depot has announced, now we have expanded our partnership to support multiple initiatives that align with key commitments around advancing education for all, especially within diverse communities, okay? And one of their lesson plans that Home Depot is subscribed to, in the kindergarten program, the second grade, students read a book called Read a Crayon's Story. And then the teacher facilitates a session using crayons exploring their identity. Each student will create a crayon. Wait a minute. Each student will create a crayon about themselves that explores their inner identities. The goal was to provide students with an opportunity to share some of their identities with classmates and teachers to explore the concept of gender identity with students. It is important, this is lesson one, important to teach young children we cannot assume someone's gender based upon their gender expression. Example, the lesson plan says someone who looks like a girl but identifies as non-binary with the pronouns they, them. This is kindergarten through second grade lesson plan sponsored by Home Depot. Number two, gender snow person. help students understand that there are many ways to be a girl, a boy, both, or neither. Again, these are lessons plans for children from the Human Rights Campaign sponsored by Home Depot. Let the students know that gender is your internal sense of being a girl, a boy, both, or neither. There are many ways that people identify their gender. There are many genders, the lesson plan says. There are many genders, says the lesson plan. A simple way to explain this to students is that when a baby is born, oh God, I love this part. When a baby is born, a doctor or midwife looks at their body anatomy and says they are a girl, boy, or intersex. However, babies can't talk, so they can't tell us how they feel. When they start to talk, they may say they are a girl or a boy or both or neither. Another lesson resource on the website includes gender support checklist. This could be my favorite. The checklist told educators to probe into the students' family lives to see if their parents are supportive of their child's gender identity. Quote, always ask the student about family dynamics. Some students may not use pronouns at all. You may also have students who use multiple pronouns. Ask questions about LGBTQ words to help them understand the differences and treat others with respect. Those words include pansexual, queer, intersex, and non-binary. The checklist wants educators to probe into the students' family lives to see if the parents are supportive of the child's gender identity.
Mouth Say Tongue would be so proud.
Oh, my God. Does Home Depot know they're supporting this? They partnered with these people and then expanded the program last year?
Is that here in Atlanta?
That's Home Depot. Human Rights, Home Depot, and the company expanding its partnership with the Human Rights Council.
Imagine 10 years ago, this wouldn't even come up. Well, all of a sudden, the last 10 years, we've suddenly decided that half the kids out there are pan something or trans something. Yeah. It's insanity.
Kids showing up in school as fur babies. They have their fur identification. Now they actually have to deal with the issue of kids saying they want to identify as a cat or a rabbit or something in school. And again, this 3 days in a row now, we're going to mention this. Ronald Reagan said it. One generation. In one generation's time, the whole country can be gone. Think about one generation ago, would any of this been on the table? Would we have said any of these things? Pansexual? Would I have said the word? Would I have ever heard of the word? Would I have ever seen the word? Would I ever uttered the word pansexual a generation ago? I don't think so. Would I have uttered the phrase, oh, well, there are several genders. There could be a lot of genders or no genders, two at a time. Would you have ever even had the thought in your head? And now we're supposed to acknowledge it, accept it, and say, okay, all right,